How did World War II affect you?
Well, as a young lad, it didn't affect me much at all.
It didn't?
When the war started, I would have been 6 years old.
And so was food ever scarce growing up then, or?
I didn't notice it, but I knew, particularly later, but the folks had to have food stamps and coupons to get certain things. You couldn't buy anything you wanted in those days.
Okay. This one's kind of a weird question. Go ahead.
Stay with the war.
Yeah.
So, Uncle Bob was in the war.
Yeah.
Your mother's brother. Tell us a bit about that and what you know.
You could get that out of the way.
Just
Well, when Bob got out of high school, or was around 18, 19, needed a job. He was about 6 years older than me. And so his father got him a job down at Moata Armories in somebody's administration office. And he was working there when war broke out. So he signed up for the Calgary Tanks, it's now known as the King's Own Calgary Regiment. And eventually he and all the other enlistees boarded a train here in Calgary, right down by, it was on the station right on Center Street and 16th Avenue. We all went down to say goodbye, and all these soldiers were getting on. We waved to them as they went. And then, he was a Calgary Tanks. They went through Sicily and up through Italy part way, and then they were moved from Italy off into Northwest Europe and went through Holland and helped free Holland. And at the end of the war, when he came home, the train came in and they marched them all in to Moata Field.
yeah.
And the soldiers were marching around, and as they saw their families,
Just random.
they would drop out.
When did you join the military?
Oh boy. Well, when I went to university, I looked at taking on COTC, Canadian Officers Training through university, but I found out it meant going off to summer camp for 5 months for 3 years. And that would have meant the year after I graduated as a commerce student too then, because it was only a 3-year course then. And I found out what it paid, and I was going around with your mother or grandmother then. So I only went out to 2 or 3 nights of COTC, and I dropped out
Oh.
of COTC. And when I graduated, I went down and joined the reserves for the King's Own Calgary Regiment. And my uncle, who is still in the reserves, he rose to be the commanding officer of the King's Own. After he got back from the war, he joined the reserves and grew to be the commanding officer in time. He recommended I take a year in the ranks and then take my COTC through the reserves. So I spent a year as a trooper, raw, but I took training and became a trooper recruit, trooper trained. And at the end of the year I applied for, and you have to go before a commission and be questioned. But I got enrolled in COTC through the reserves. And so the next year I took lessons. There were some regular Army officers who gave the training in Calgary. And then the only COTC cadet in Calgary was myself. But there were 6 of them out in Vulcan.
Oh, okay.
So you want to see me get on parade by myself in Calgary. But we used to train together the odd time, and we got together. And so I went through that for a year and then go to summer camp. Oh, there was a written test after the first year, and I got the highest mark in Canada on the written test. And then the next year we went off to summer camp at Wainwright.
Okay.
and I was chosen the most outstanding cadet in Wainwright, because there was officer cadets from all over Alberta going to this one. And then I had to go back and supposedly spend another year with training. And the second in command of the regiment, Jack Hunter, started to teach me, but he started to teach me tactics at the battalion level and whatnot. Oh, way over my head. Anyhow, he went up and got himself killed in an accident. And then they did away with all this extra training, so I got my commission then.
And that was it called? CTOC?
COTC, Canadian Officers Training Corps, COTC. It's ROTC, some regular officers training corps otherwise.